Alright, hi there. This is Stephen with Karma Astrology. I'm coming to you live from Santa Fe, New Mexico to talk about the moon as it resides in Punarvasu Nakshatra. Today is May 16th. It's Sunday, 2021. Right now, the time is 10:32 a.m. here in the Mountain Time Zone of the U.S. You can correlate that to wherever you are in the world, and then you can see down here when this video is active until. This video is covering basically the moon as it transits through, as you can see over here, it's now in Cancer, and it is down there. You can see I wrote that out, that it gives you kind of the end date or the end time tomorrow or tonight in the US here at 3:52 a.m. That's going to be different no matter where you are in the world, but it's going to be that same 3:52 a.m. on the east coast of the U.S. Just that's the time it'll be here, or at least on the east coast. Here in Mountain Time Zone, it'll be 1:52 a.m., but I figured most people in the U.S., most people watching this video, are probably located somewhere on the east coast. So that being said, this is I do these forecasts to give you an idea of what energy we're going through, what our kind of strengths and weaknesses of each day are, and how we can kind of focus our awareness on what's happening in the world, what's happening in the sky, and allow it to kind of guide us and give us some sort of connection to not only the stars and astronomy, and spirituality in a different kind of way than you might be used to, or if you're into astrology, you're probably used to it, or mysticism or something like that. But the idea is that you can use these kind of forces, these planetary alignments or positions or transits, whatever you want to call them, to your advantage. You can use them to plan certain events, to not plan certain events, to do all sorts of auspicious and inauspicious things, and to kind of go with the flow in order to realize that you're not going crazy. Sometimes people think they're going crazy when it's just something moving through the sky in a weird spot in their chart or something like that. So like yesterday, it was kind of about destruction and this kind of cleansing storm-like energy, and today is called the Return of the Light, or Punarvasu. So I'm just going to get into it now. That's my little opening spiel, as I would say. So Punarvasu, Puna means again, or return, and then Vasu means to shine or to grow bright. So it's to shine or grow bright again, or the returning of the brightness of the light. And so that kind of symbolizes that yesterday we went through Ardra Nakshatra, and Ardra Nakshatra was that dark kind of cleansing storm, as I just mentioned, and Punarvasu is kind of the return of the sunlight, the return of optimism and hope, and this kind of inspiration that allows us to plant new seeds and seek new, give us kind of a second chance in a way. If this sign has, or this, I guess you could call it a sign, but it's a nakshatra is what it's called in Sanskrit. It's basically a sign or a Vedic constellation, or a constellation that originates from the Indus River Valley civilization, as opposed to the Mesopotamian civilizations that created the 12-sign zodiac that's also incorporated into Indian astrology or Vedic astrology. So if you're not familiar with that already, or if you haven't heard me say that enough times, if you are familiar. And then, let's see, okay, so I like to talk about the deity, or the kind of archetypal energy, personified archetypal energy of the day, as well as the symbol, because each of these nakshatras has a symbol and a deity. And today, the deity of Punarvasu is called Aditi. Now, Aditi is this kind of divine mother figure, divine mother goddess, of which the solar deities were all born. So it's kind of this, you could almost look at Aditi's energy as this innate creative potential that lies within each of us, and how when we foster certain attitudes or certain activities, then we're able to create something from this kind of potential energy that is within us at all times. And so there's, sometimes we talk about the quality of the different deities that are born, those different solar deities that are born from Aditi, as a way to kind of describe her universal energy. And those are, well, translated, it basically, well, I'll just talk about a few of them at least. There's skill, skill in crafting, ritual skill, friendship, prosperity, power of speech, social law, fate, cosmic law, inheritance, and this kind of integrity. So these are all kind of just one word to describe, I guess, these different deities that are born of Aditya, or Aditi, the 12 Adityas. And so they kind of show this, all these different qualities that come in. It's an interesting nakshatra because it's this female deity, but she gives birth to all these masculine qualities, these qualities of creative activation. And so when we're, when the moon travels through this part of the sky, there's a lot of this potential to take action, and the potential to be creative, and to to do things that are in alignment with our truth, and that take a lot of skill, and kind of the development of skill as well. So it's an interesting nakshatra in that regard. There's this basically ability to start new, and to start fresh, and to start over again, that comes with this nakshatra in this part of the sky. And it allows us to gain more wealth and honor and kind of a reputation, as you can see those deities kind of relating to the solar deities are very much on display. They're qualities that are external within us, that other people can witness, and just like this kind of divine masculine energy is about our ability to take action, and our ability to be creative, and that is kind of what we're birthing, or what we're creating on a day like today. The symbol, on the other hand, I like to talk about the symbol, as I said, and the symbol is a bow and arrow with a quiver. And these special arrows are unique in that they are able to return back to the quiver after we shoot our target. And they kind of follow our target, hit it, and return back into the quiver. So it's this kind of recycling of the spiritual potential, and the potential to kind of attack our goals, or achieve our goals, accomplish things, and this tremendous skill. It takes a lot of skill to be a good archer, that we can develop on a day like today. We can definitely work on our skills and hone them on a day like today. And that kind of returning to the quiver aspect is this almost like this renewable source of energy, and this renewable source of really spiritual vigor that allows us to kind of keep going new, making new things, and keep going through new cycles of life. When one cycle ends, this, as I've been saying, this kind of return of the light shows that we've ended one cycle, and now we're starting to come back. We're starting to gain that hope, that kind of purpose, and that drive that's being birthed here. All those kind of masculine light type of qualities are being developed, and we're maybe given second tries or second chances. That quiver kind of came back into the or the arrow kind of came back into the quiver, even if we didn't necessarily hit our target. And if you're not aware, in kind of the ancient kind of texts of the Vedic culture, or just Hindu culture in general, Indian culture, they talk about the bow, that Shiva's bow, that was basically this impossible to string bow. Nobody could do it, and it took a tremendous amount of strength and power and skill in order to basically get the bow, to be able to string the bow. And there's a whole story in the Ramayana, and the story of Rama, the kind of god king of ancient India, or one of the kingdoms, Ayodhya, in ancient India. and how Rama was the only being that was able to actually string this bow, and it was kind of to show that, you know, he had the moral, the physical, the spiritual strength, and leadership qualities and power in order to lead society and be a righteous king rather than a tyrant in a way. So this kind of shows the coalition, that's not the right word, but, you know, the kind of combining of all of our forces and the conglomeration of them as they kind of allow us to achieve great goals and do things like string this impossible bow, you know, that metaphorically, that allows us to, you know, attack our goals and get things done, and do things the way that, you know, is righteous and pure and based in truth and honor. So those are big themes as well. It was also known that Lord Rama was born when the moon was in this part of the sky, so it definitely kind of doubles down on that whole, you know, godly nature within each of us, and the ability to act honorably and righteously in alignment with our principles and with what's right for the natural world and human world combined, you know, which is not a very easy task, and it takes a lot of intelligence and wisdom and power to be able to kind of align society with nature and kind of make sure that people are focused on truth and on, you know, being good people rather than kind of letting their morals kind of slip away and kind of fade into this sense of devolution, where we're kind of losing our integrity. And so that's something that we're not looking to go for on a day like today in general. So I'm going to show you where this is in the sky, just so you can get an idea of what it looks like, and what it's a pretty cool area of the sky right now, because we have the moon is very close to the sun, which means it's very close to Mercury and Venus, and so they're all kind of aligned, and they're separating as the moon gets further and further away. But you'll be able to see from the sky map where it is in the night, so that you can go out there at sunset and check out the sky and know exactly what you're looking for, what you're looking at, and yeah, really get a good idea of what's going on, and be able to, you know, impress your family and friends or whatnot. So here's the sky right now. We have the sun. It's you know, this is based on where I am, so this is in Mountain Time Zone, like Denver, Santa Fe area, and El Paso, that kind of time zone. And you can see that the sun is kind of making its way. It's not, all the planets kind of travel along the same similar path. This orange line is called the ecliptic, and it's the road. It's because all of the planets orbit around the sun in the same plane. If you can understand what that means. So there's this kind of flat plane in which all the planets, including the moon, it's not a planet, it's a luminary, but they orbit around the sun. So from our perspective here on Earth, all the planets, the sun and the moon, all orbit around this same plane, because we're on the plane. If that makes any sense to you or not, I don't know. You know, I'm more of a technically minded person, so it makes sense to me, and I hope it, you know, if you have any questions about this, feel free to ask them in the chat or, you know, in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to interact with y'all. So you can see the sun kind of moving, is going to be slowly moving down in this direction towards Taurus as it moves out of Aries. It might be actually in Taurus today. I didn't even know. Yep, it entered Taurus a couple days ago, actually. Wow. So, the sun is moving that way. The moon is down here in Gemini, as you can see. And I can move this forward a little bit so you can see kind of where it is a little more clearly. I'm going to put this up back on the moon. And you can see the moon's like right in the Castor region of Gemini. That's that bottom sign, the bottom human. And let's see, I can put this back a little bit so you can get an idea of how it looks around sunset. And you see sun setting here, and sunset's about at least here in this, I guess, latitude of the world, it is, that's not right, that it would set at 11:50 p.m., but it's setting around 8 p.m. That's what it is down there at the bottom. So the sun sets, and then you can see the stars kind of pop out, and that next bright looking star is going to be Venus, right above the sun as it sets, and then you're going to see Mercury, and then you're going to see the moon. And you'll easily see Pollux and Castor. That was Pollux I was talking about, not Castor earlier, actually. And yesterday, this is Ardra, this Betelgeuse area, and then Gemini in general is the area of the sky represented by Punarvasu. Let me just double check that. Yeah, Castor and Pollux. Exactly. The sign of Gemini is this Punarvasu, according to the ancient rishis or wise people or the ancient astrologers, astronomers. They used to be the same thing. Just letting you know, astrology was how we originated the science, or the conceptualized in the beginning. The whole science of astronomy is really based on astrology, and it wasn't until later years that they kind of broke away the actual physical locations of the stars from our perspective here on Earth, with the actual meanings behind what people for thousands of years associated with the different asterisms or sections of the sky. So they used to be one science, and now we kind of, through the age of reason, we kind of did away with meaning when it came to astronomy, which is a little sad in my opinion, because I'm very much into the scientific aspect of astrology and astronomy. But whatever the case, there's nothing we can really do about that now. So I'm gonna kind of go back here. Let's see. So do that. I'll switch the screen back so that you can see the chart again, and then I'm going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses and close out with a little bit about the sun as it moved into Taurus, with all of that other fun stuff that we've been seeing. Oh, don't do this to me now. Okay. Alright, well, it looks like my Streamlabs doesn't like... let's see. Okay, I can move it back to that. Huh. Okay. Well, it's not letting me show the chart again, but at least I can show you the actual locations in the sky, and you can just listen to me talk about it. So, we can see here... Ooh, move that back. We can see here... I'm going to go over this screen... that the sun is clearly in Taurus now. The sign of Taurus is this guy right here, and the sun is that bright, fiery ball of light in the sky if you haven't been alive for your entire life. So the sun moving into Taurus, and you can see it's finally catching up to, I guess Venus moves a little faster than the sun, but so Venus entered Taurus first, and Mercury's way faster than both of those guys, or a little bit faster than both of those guys, so it's kind of leading the way. And so they're all in Taurus, and you can't see it here because it's a magnetic point in the sky, or electromagnetic point, but the moon actually has its orbit. You know how I said it was in the same plane? Its plane of orbit is actually slightly askew from that of Mercury and Venus and the other planets as they orbit around the sun. And that means the moon's orbit around the Earth is the plane in which the moon orbits around the Earth is kind of tilted slightly from the ecliptic, or the plane in which the planets orbit around the sun, if that makes sense to you. I hope it does. So we can see here that, oh yeah, and there's of course Mars right right there. Good old Mars. Nice to have Mars there in Gemini. So, and I'll talk about that too. So we have the sun entered Taurus, we have Venus in Taurus, we have Mercury in Taurus, and then we have the moon here conjunct Gemini today. So when the sun enters Taurus, the sun was fully exalted in Aries, showing that the sun is the part of us that connects to our spirit. It's the part of us that wants to feel righteous and powerful and confident and secure, and to do things our own way, our own unique individual way. And it connects us to our spirit in that regard, because we have our own unique individual spirit, and we have our own unique individual traits and habits and experiences in our lives and genetics and all the different beautiful things that make us an individual. And when we honor those things, and we honor that kind of path of our own nature without listening to others as to what that is, without being too persuaded by others to do things that are against our spirit or against our true nature, then that's kind of the lesson of the sun, is to learn how to do it on our own rather than to listen to other people. And so when the sun's in Aries, long story long, when the sun's in Aries, we end up we feel more connected with our own path and with our own way, and we kind of take no prisoners when it comes to doing it our own thing, and that in regard to how we're kind of acting righteously and honorably. So hopefully that can manifest in different ways, but it can hopefully manifest in terms of feeling more confident and kind of living our truth a little bit more, and living a more righteous life, honorable life, and sacrificing for others as a leader figure in our own life, being kind of the king of our own life, or the queen. And then as it moves into Taurus, we get more connected with our spirit through all of the sensory pleasures in life, because Taurus is a Venus-ruled sign, so it shows this connection to feeling good and our desire to feel happy, kind of our desires in general, but this sense of internal joy and happiness and respect that we're all really looking for. It's a very sociable sign and planet. And so when the sun comes here, we feel more connected to our spirit when we're gardening or cooking or doing things that are fun and feel good, and that includes doing things that are kind of creative in ways that feel good or provide joy or beauty to other people's lives. So I call it Taurus, kind of the sign of the craftsman or craftswoman, because it is about kind of creating this either a really good meal, building a house. Kind of construction is about Taurus energy, because we're building this beautiful home, this place that we want to that other people can enjoy. It also relates to like anything, like glass blowing or pottery or any skill or craft that you have, woodworking, cabinet making, any sort of art in general that you take part of in this, and where you build skills and you're kind of building up to a final product that gives a sense of beauty into your life and other people's lives. That's really what Taurus is all about. So yeah, that's why I talk about cooking and stuff. So the sun moving into there shows that we're more empowered to do that, and we feel more confident when we're when we're doing those types of things. So if it's a great time to cook meals for your family, and to cook for yourself, and to do things that if you have a lot of Taurus energy in your chart, then you're gonna feel a certain way about this energy, because your spirit planet, the sun, or your spirit luminary, the sun, is coming over planets in your chart, and so it's kind of brightening them up. It's showing your strengths and weaknesses there. The sun tends to illuminate things, as we would imagine. It's also kind of the power plant of the solar system. It's where we derive the life force here, and it relates to the divine masculine. So when the sun comes into Taurus or over planets in your chart, it'll show your strengths, it'll show your weaknesses and flaws. It'll allow you to understand from the feelings of confidence or lack thereof. Your level of self-esteem is going to determine a lot about it's going to be determined by how good you're able to feel when the sun is in Taurus, and how good you're going to be able to make other people feel. So happy, respected, nurtured, and loved. Those kind of Taurus-y things that really kind of make us feel empowered and confident when the sun comes into this area of the sky. Hope that's clear to you. Otherwise, we have Mercury and Venus there, our two sociable planets, so there's definitely a lot more awareness and kind of attention brought into our sense of communication, talking with people, connecting with other people, and having fun with it, like learning from them and making them feel good and happy, and bringing kind of this sweet Taurian speech into our relationships. So maybe we're getting more creative and having more fun and talking more politely and respectfully to other people, which is a really nice addition to the sun energy, although the three of them being in the same area of the sky kind of shows this they almost call it like a planetary battle, because each of the different objects, the planets or the sun and the moon, have their own kind of agenda or part of us that they relate to. And so when Mercury's in one section of the sky and Venus is in the same section, then Mercury's trying to get us to focus on our communication and our speech, our intellect, and developing it and organizing it, and Venus is trying to get us to feel good and happy and make ourselves feel good and other people feel good too, or to find some sort of pleasure in life. So sometimes our speech can come at odds with our sense of pleasure, although they're good friends, so they tend to work together pretty well. You know, we just get more pleasant speech in general. But the sun coming into the picture shows that all of the flaws, all the issues, all of the kind of areas that we need to shore up and develop in order to gain a sense of confidence. You know, so when the sun comes into conjunction with Mercury and Venus, we end up getting much more, we see our flaws in our social interactions, we see the problems, and we might harp on them a little too much, or try and impose our desires and our way of feeling good and pleasurable and providing some sort of joy to the world on other people, rather than finding that kind of happy medium. So that's something we need to be aware of, is the balance of our needs and other people's needs, the balance of our speech and our feelings, and the need to not talk, and all those different kind of aspects. And then the moon being in conjunction with Mars, as you can see, I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little better, and go back so it looks a little more, so you can see Mars. See, there's Mars, that orangey star right next to the moon. So you'll see it's a little past, this is kind of last night, but tonight you'll see that the moon's past Mars a little bit in the sky, but still it's very close. And so that kind of, the moon is where we feel sensitive and where we're looking for connection with other people and a sense of kind of unconditional acceptance and love. And Mars is where we're looking to defend or protect or fight for something. And usually that is the things that we love, and the people we feel connected to that we want to fight for, our homeland, our family, and that kind of stuff. So when the moon and Mars come into conjunction, we tend to just feel a little more aggressive, a little more protective, assertive, and defensive of our feelings, sensitive to other people's kind of aggressions on us, or microaggressions, or what we perceive to be aggressions. So we need to just watch out for our reactions and our reactionary nature, because Mars tends to make us react. Even though at this point in time they are a little bit distanced away, we can still kind of feel that connection, even though they're about 15 degrees away currently in the sky. This is from last night. It's just hard to see it in the daytime, because this app doesn't show the stars, or it doesn't show what you can't see in the daytime. So you can't see that Venus is here and is around there, and Mercury is, I can only show you the constellation names, but you just saw it. So that's kind of the deal in general. Just kind of keep your temper in check. And the moon in Cancer, since it's there now, the moon in Cancer is a very sensitive part of the zodiac, so it makes us more sensitized to other people in general, and it makes us feel like we really do want to connect with other people, but we're maybe not so assertive about it. We want people to just kind of want to come to us, and we want to receive them and be open to them, but it can be difficult sometimes when we're this open-hearted, or when we're kind of being guided towards being very open-hearted when the moon's in Cancer. And with that Mars there, we might be feeling a little sharp and overprotective of our sensitivities, although that will kind of wane as the day goes on. So just be aware that we are going to be extra sensitive today, and it's really great for getting in touch with your sense of devotion and your connection to your spirit, and any sort of teacher figures. It's really nice, or teachings, kind of being devoted to your guru, whether that be Jesus or Krishna or Moses, I don't know, you're just God, whatever your kind of form or connection to spirituality is. It's a great day to really try and tap into your feelings and that sense of love that you have for whoever it is, whatever it is, whether that be nature or God or whatever, kind of the same thing. But getting in touch with those feelings, those emotions, are going to allow you to get to deeper levels of consciousness and feeling that, tends to bring out the waterworks in a really good way. You can cry a lot of joyful tears when the moon's in Cancer. So I think that's going to do it. It looks like we have a couple people in chat asking about their own personal birth chart and how I can analyze their chart. And I'd be happy to help you out. If you wanted to book a private reading with me, you can check out my YouTube homepage, in which I offer Vedic astrology readings, where I can talk all about, career auspicious timings and what kind of careers would be good for you, or relationship advice, or any sort of financing troubles, or any aspect of your life. I'm more than happy to talk about that, but I save those for your actual private reading, since this is more of a collective energy of what we're all dealing with on a day, and I don't want to kind of waste other people's times with your personal reading. And I'm also, in the business of astrology too, so I do need to make money somehow and survive somehow, pay the bills. So if you'd like, you can book a reading with me. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe if you want to see these every day to get a good idea of what we're working with. And then, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. You know what, I just realized that I didn't even, I was discombobulated with the whole chart not coming back up. My Streamlabs is kind of sucking it up today. So I just wanted to mention some strengths and weaknesses for the day, because it's Punarvasu. So hopefully you haven't left yet, but check this out. So some strengths: it makes us a little more gentle, kind-hearted. When the moon is in this section of the sky, like on a day like today, until that time, until the nighttime here in the US or midday in India, it's going to make us more friendly, contented, nurturing, generous. It gives us the ability to fix mistakes and make corrections, to connect with other people. It's great for your imagination and connecting to kind of those watery realms, your intuition. Helps us to live in the moment and simplify things a bit. It gives us a sense of connection with our religion or our spirituality, spiritual practices. I like to really think that we each have our kind of own little individualized religion, because we're all unique people with different bodies and genetics and everything. So I like to kind of say, even though we do have organized religion where a bunch of people kind of share a similar path, I still think that we all kind of, even within that, have our own little subset of our own personal spiritual practices that creates our own sense of religion, because religion is really just, practices that you commit to in general, and a belief system that you kind of subscribe to. And that can always change, as we learn new information, or it can really solidify as we feel like we're getting closer and closer to the truth. That's my little spiel on that. It can give us more of an interest in philosophy, spirituality, like I was saying, the sense of purification and communication. It can make us good at inspiring speakers, and to give us kind of this second wind, or this ability to have success if we failed the first time. So this is really a day that you want to give yourself a second shot. You know, anytime you fail at something, it's actually kind of a blessing on a day like today, which is kind of weird. So it might have been something that you've tried in the past that you screwed up and you want to work on again, maybe a relationship or a project or whatever. And now you get the opportunity to today, and I would definitely take advantage of that opportunity to try and do something over again. Redos is kind of the theme of the day. Reworking, reimagining, rethinking, anything. And then in terms of the shadow side, it can make us a little fickle with our loyalties. We're not quite single-pointed as much because we have this I don't know, it gives us more of this intellectual inquisitiveness that can lead this kind of Gemini part of it. Even though we're in Cancer, it can still lead to this kind of lack of loyalty to one specific path. And so it's nice to kind of hone in and have that single-pointed focus, because that's what really allows us to make progress in life. It can make us a little overcritical, oversimplified. It can give us kind of a lack of material drive, or drive to make our actual world, rather than just our spiritual world and our mental world, better. We kind of lose track of the actual physical practices and progress that we're making in different aspects of our lives. So it's good to kind of keep that on lockdown. Keep kind of doing your routine if it's working for you. It can bring unstable relationships and just a sense of over-intellectualizing things, and a sense of boredom into our lives. So there's no reason to ever really get bored. It's just a matter of how connected we are to all of the things that that are around us, that allows us to feel aware. And awareness is kind of, in my opinion, the opposite of boredom, because you can sit still and do absolutely nothing forever and still have plenty that your senses can tune to, and your senses beyond your 5 and 6 senses, as they say, because the mind is also, thinking is also considered a sense in Vedic culture. So it's an interesting time to kind of feel out and not get too bored, not just let things kind of pass you by. And then favorable activities is a good day for traveling, exploring, using your imagination. It's a good day for setting up some sort of altar in your house, or some sort of spiritual space for you. Excuse me. Good day to spend time with children, take care of them, for buying homes, buying cars, any sort of means of transportation. Maybe it's a skateboard for you, I don't know. Jet ski, who knows. It's a good day for gardening and working in agriculture in general, any sort of planting or earth sciences that you do. It's nice for starting a project, like a building project or a foundation. It's good for education and meditation. It's good for fresh starts, new beginnings. And in terms of unfavorable activities, it's not a great day for lending or borrowing money from people, for doing anything with law or legal issues. You don't want to be getting too confrontational on a day like today. It's not a great day for conflict or anger or aggression, even though the moon is pretty darn close to Mars, so we're going to feel that way. But it's a good day to kind of step away from those feelings of angst and anger. Give yourself some time to reflect, some time to kind of renew a relationship rather than destroy one. And I hope you got a lot out of that, because I think that's going to do it for today. So I hope you have a fantastic day. Start something over again, start something new. If you fail, don't worry. Try it again. Get up and try again. this is definitely the day of second chances, so keep that in mind. And otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace and love. Take care.